Hi, I'm Steve Shelburne, owner and operator of Shelburne RV here in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee. Good morning. It's been raining. We haven't had any rain, and man, it's been, I don't know, a month and a half, 2 months. We get these little dribble rains, but we hadn't had any downpours. We actually had a lot of thunderstorms last night, so all my dirt work that I did up here looks like it worked out. All the water's draining correctly. So yeah, I'm kind of happy about that. So another Monday morning. As you can see, the parking lot's kind of empty. Didn't have a ton come in last week. And we've got a ton waiting on insurance claims up there. Roof job and some body damage, and I can't even remember all the stuff, but we got a bunch sitting up there waiting. I did have a basement air dropped off this morning at like 7:15. The gentleman is over here from Arkansas. So Lewis is getting ready to get going on that. So hopefully we'll have a bunch of stuff come in this week. We'll see. But let's go up here and see what we got going on this morning. Welcome back. Well, Mr. Lewis is in here. He's got this basement air plugged up and ready to look at, as you can see. And this is the big high capacitance unit. So we're going to get this plugged up and see what's going on with this and see what we got to do. Well, I didn't have the video camera going when Lewis fired this up, but we actually had fire, a big old bolt of electricity come out of this capacitors right here. So we're going to go ahead and change these PTCs. These give a little bit of problem over time. With fire coming out of there, I don't really trust them, so I'm going to update those. And then the compressor 2 capacitor was checking low when he checked it with the meter. So we're going to go ahead and check this. Now, the only thing that we found so far, the customer had updated this board. Now, one of the updates on this board is they do add and you can see it right there, it's an AC2 black. And that typically, if you guys have looked at these before, the orange one usually only has, on the old board, only had one wire coming off of the orange. When they updated this board, we have to add a wire from there to AC2 black. So this wire was not connected. And so what was happening was compressor 1 was coming on, compressor 2 was not coming on because it didn't have the 120 volt power to supply to it. So once we did that, that's when we got fire coming out of here. So again, I'm not going to trust those. And this was low. This was like supposed to be at, it was way low. So 45, and I think Lewis said it was 39. So we're going to go ahead and change that to be on the safe side. So we're going to get all this updated and retest. And I'll have the camera on this time just in case it does shoot fire out of it again. All right, we're going to give it round 2. We'll see if any fire comes out of it this time. Lewis has got the capacitors all updated. So we're going to see what happens. He's getting all the power put back on here. So see what happens. All right, compressor 1. Now I don't have the clamp on meter on compressor 1, just compressor 2, because we've already checked compressor 1 and it was running. So we're going to see what happens here in a second. If it does have a bad compressor, it's going to spike up about 45, or it's going to blow up. All right, so 5.78. All right, Lewis, why don't you check the black one? Let's see what to compare it to. That one's about 523. Let's see what the black one shows up to be. Now, we want to be within an amp of each other. Yeah, that's that one right above it. So we're at 626, but remember that one's been running just a little bit longer. Let's go back to the orange one. So we're at about 630 on the capacitor, or on the compressor 1, sorry. And we're So we're within our amp of each other. So at this point, everything's operating correctly. So we're gonna start checking our temps, checking our discharges, and see what we got. It may just be a simple fact of a missing wire and a couple bad capacitors, but we're gonna run it here and find out. Well, Mr. Lewis got this all washed out. We cleaned up the coils. You can see how much water's been puddling underneath this thing. So all of our amp draws were within an amp of each other. This thing is kicking. Now, one thing I did go in here and change, he had some insulation in here, the OEM insulation, and he had some tape, and that stuff was coming apart, and I was afraid that it was going to get over here into this coil at some point. So we just went in here, put this nice foam in there, clean that up. But only thing wrong with that was obviously the wire, run capacitor, and 2 PTCs. So, and we did change the fan motor bearing on the outdoor fan. So this one's all finished up and ready to head back out to Arkansas. Well, the basement air is already gone, so he's on his way back to Arkansas. Got that done in a quick amount of time. This Class C Itasca right there has got Flex Seal on the sealant. So Mr. Dillon's up there right now taking care of that, getting that cleaned up. Well, the Springdale right here ended up getting a new air conditioner. We got that installed just a few minutes ago, and this viewfinder that we've got in here, this customer's a little older, and those steps right there, not really giving them any confidence. So we've actually got a set of the fold-in steps that's got the spring assist on it, along with the grab handle, so that they can get in and out of that camper a little more safe. So we just got those parts, got a lot of parts on order right now. Got that stuff ordered, and then when it comes in, we'll start doing the install on that. The little B plus back here you saw last week, where we installed an air conditioner on it, and they've got some other issues that we're dealing with on that, so we're just waiting on some approval on that. But several things we got working on, just trying to get approval. Obviously a bunch of parts in to try to get that done. Well, I know we've talked in previous videos about the economy in general and how things are not what they were, you know, obviously a couple years ago. And you know, look at my parking lot right here. Empty. And I've had several people come in here and ask if we're actually going out of business. No, we're not going out of business. I literally have the best group of mechanics working for Shelburne RV, and that being said, that's why the parking lot is empty, because they're literally fixing the stuff as quickly as it's coming in. And you know, unlike other dealerships where the campers come in there and sit for, you know, weeks and months on end, that's not the case here. That unit storage. That's it. Now we got probably a half dozen units up at the big shop that are sitting there waiting to be worked on, and we've got some estimates out there. We've got some parts that we're waiting to get in. But in years past, this was so full. I mean, it was cousin Gary spent a bunch of time just trying to stack campers up down here, trying to keep room and things moving, and you know, that's just not the case. And I'd be interested to hear from you guys, you know, some of you mechanics that are out there. What's the business like where you guys are at? Are you seeing a lot of stuff coming in and out? Are you just not seeing the business coming in? Or are your guys fixing it as quickly as it comes in? You know, it's just kind of interesting, because again, I'm used to having a parking lot full of stuff, and of course this is where we're at, and it's just, you know, as a business person, you know, it's a little nerve-wracking, because again, you know, that's the cash flow right there, guys. You know, that's where the money, that's how we pay our bills around here. And you know, I think we had 4 come in on Monday, but yeah, they're just moving through things, and you know, I'm not sure what the deal is or why, but I'd be interested to hear from you guys. I mean, it's just kind of interesting to see what goes on, and you know, I don't know. So there's my 2 cents. So next project on the list is about a 2000 model, maybe a little older, maybe 98 model flare. And it had originally CPVC, which you can see back in there. And he had some mobile guy come out and replumb this thing. Now, he ain't real happy with the job the guy did. And count how many shark bites you guys have seen just in the short amount of video that I've done. Now, here's where it gets real scary is, look at all them shark bites. Look at all them shark bites. Now, originally the hoses came across and came through right there in this panel, but that's not the way the guy did it. I mean, it's amazing how many shark bites. Of course, he left all the PVC going up through there, which is still broke up inside there. And that's just the way they did it back in the day. So, you know, this is not what the customer wanted. He wants this thing to be right. Typically, I would go in there and do that with PEX B, which uses the little clamps and the crimper. I'm not a big fan of PEX B. Those clamps are a pain. Trying to get the crimper in there's a pain. So we use the PEX A, which is the Upinar, that you have to have the machine to swell with the collars, put it on there. And I'll show you when we get closer to being done with it. But once we get all that PEX A in there and get it all done, that will be right. That'll be the way that should be done. So that's what they're working on there. Mr. Lewis is back here on this Amerilite. Now, the customer could not get this company to do anything about this. It's a little sad. So we're gonna go in here with a Turn-A-Bond tape and fix the back of that. We took the fascia off so we can reach behind here. And then we were gonna replace these ceiling panels, but that would require us pulling the whole, because it's all tucked underneath all this stuff. And they want a low-cost solution. So we've come up with these color boards. We're gonna use that to hold this back up, and then we're gonna fix a nice mirror to go up underneath there for some decoration. I don't know, we'll see. Let's do a little update on this Amerilite. Now, Lewis worked on this for several hours yesterday, and this was the best solution that we could come up with this. Now, you saw those were actually shelves that I had bought at Lowe's. And so Lewis went in here and took the shelves and actually used those to pull everything tight. And then we found this mirror, and we've got that mounted in there. And that took 90% of the bow out of there, but it really looks like that's how the factory did it. So again, Mr. Lewis saved the day. All right, so Mr. Lewis has got the Manus valve back in this, and I'll take you down there and show you what I'm talking about here in a minute. But we got water on this thing, and the shower is leaking water. Now, we got to have access to the back of that, and it's behind the slide. And so what we found out was these mirrors were covering up the access point. So they were just stuck here, and we had to get those out of there. But you can see the water line's broken here. Let me take you downstairs and show you this Manus valve. All right, so several weeks ago, we ordered this new Manus valve. Now, this distribution valve was actually broke back in here. So he's got that fixed, and we're doing a water test on this unit now to see where we're at. So obviously the customer did not like all these shark bites. So Lewis is now coming in here with his PEX A, which is the Upinar. And you can see all the fittings that get swelled on there, but he's replacing all this. This is really the product we like. That Upinar PEX A is really a phenomenal product. Okay, so we might have got a little rain in the last 24 hours. We haven't really seen much rain around here. You can see everything's pretty well. All the ditches I dug seem to be working pretty good, but I have had a little bit of overflow in that area. So we've had quite a bit of water coming in right there. And of course, the parking area is kind of, the gutter was plugged up this morning. So all the water, we couldn't even get in the office. The water was all overflowing the shop right there. So yeah, I haven't really had any rain in like 2 months. So now it's just coming down like crazy. We had a big horse trailer come in. It's having some air conditioner problems. And the air conditioner that was in here was the original air conditioner from when the coach was built in 04. But that is the only discharge it has. One of those goes to the bathroom. The other one comes right here, and the other one goes all the way up there. I can tell you that is not enough discharge airflow. This unit has never quite cooled directly from the factory. And that's a prime example why, because at 320 CFM, that ain't gonna get it. So what we're gonna do here is we've got this lower assembly we're gonna use right here that we got from Coleman. And what that's gonna allow us to do is he can shoot the air out straight there, straight back there, and that'll give him the ability to cool this thing down, and it'll keep that from freezing up. All right, been working on the flare a little bit more, and he's coming along real nicely with this. Now, you can see how we've got everything coming from over here now comes through the hole right there. He's got the hot water heater plumbed in right there. Of course, put a low point drain right there. The kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and toilet water lines go up there. Now, he's just kind of got this sitting here because he's gonna get all that plumbed in, and then we'll put some straps around that. But got the bypass valve now in for the hot water heater. Let me take you over here on this other side and show you what we got going on. Now, there was some plumbing that actually came down through the bathroom wall and down through there and then came over to this. Now, that was going to be a nightmare to even get back up through there. So what we did, because we had to fix some stuff over there, we just shot the plumbing over right here, put the low point drains in there. Of course, that allowed us city water connector, outdoor shower. So we just took it through there and instead of trying to fight it up through the wall into the bathroom cabinet, which I'll show you here in just a second. So you can see how the plumbing comes up right there, and then this is what'll supply the kitchen sink. And then I'm gonna step over here, Mr. Adrian, the bathroom sink, and then the toilet. Now, these other plumbing lines, it may be hard to see. We're gonna get a light on the subject here. So the other plumbing went down there. And so we've eliminated that because that was gonna be a little bit of a nightmare. And then the toilet line came up to the floor, and look at this. They actually glued straight up to the valve. So we've got a new hose here, and we're gonna come right through here and put a nice plate on there so we can come through there and then tie in. And those are glued straight to the bottom of the faucet. So I got these nice hoses that have the valves on them. That way when he plumbs this up, if you have a problem with the sink, you can just kill it right there. Problem with the toilet, you just kill it right there. But we're not gonna take that stuff down and around, which obviously is gonna be would have been a little bit of a nightmare. All right, so the flare, we have put water to it, but one of the nipples on the back of the hot water heater was leaking. So we've got to pull the hot water heater out to change that. But now look at this. This is what I saved out of there. You guys tell me in the comments how much money you think is right there in SharkBites that this customer ate. So obviously you can see that wasn't done right. It is now. We've used that PEX-A and went in there and updated all that, and it looks awesome. I've already had the customer down here looking at it, and it's exactly what he wants also. So come to find out, Fleetwood, for what I've been told, 2 years that they did the CPVC and that, all that stuff was busted in there. So we've got it all updated. This little Ultra Class C right here had a bad Atwood hot water heater, and it was cracked. So thanks to our friends over at Suburban, we're going to be putting in a new SAW6 DEL. Take care of that, and then they did put an awning fabric on there, so they'll be finishing that up here very shortly. This Canyon Trail that came in with a bad antenna, so we're going to go ahead and update that with the King Jack digital. Those Winegard wind-up ones there, that's old technology. Coachman Freelander, the one you saw us where we worked on the bunk assembly. Now this one here has got roof problems. Let's go up here and take a gander at that and see what we got going on there. All right, so you can see this roof's got some age on it. And when we got to doing the investigation on it, something had dragged across there and punctured the holes in there. So the insurance company obviously is going to take care of this because it was a damage. And they started to tear down on this. Vent lids are busted, which is not uncommon for the age of this. Skylight's broke. Probably going to change that. Trying to get it off, it'll get damaged. So a few things we're going to update on that, and then we're going to go back with the Carlisle 60 mil TPO on this one. All right, well, that's going to finish us up here. I've been down there for the last 3 hours again on the phone. Thanks again for all the phone calls. I enjoyed it. I talked to a gentleman today north of me for almost 45 minutes about his basement air. So enjoy talking to you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We're getting close. Thanks for everybody who commented this week. I hope everybody has a great weekend. And remember that this video is what? Cousin Gary approved. Take care, guys.